Okay, time for the auction. This is the L series auction. First item on the list, L01. Got a collection of little points that I have set aside as patterns for hunting points. But since I hardly use these anymore, I'm going to offer them up for sale. I used to use a lot of patterns, and I made a bunch recently, and then I decided I don't really use them. I mean, once I can make a pattern from the first little point in the set. You know, if I want to make a set of hunting points, I just use the first one as a pattern. It takes me a while to make the first one when I don't have a pattern, but after that, it goes fast. So these are all marked with little weights. They'll deviate about 2 grains. Like I weighed this again last night and it was 40 grains. And I think I weighed this one and it was like 70 grains. So some of them are higher, some of them are lower. But anyway, you'll get an idea. Let's see, this one is about 3 inches. The largest one. It has 158 on it, but I think I made a mistake when I made this one and wrote this weight on this one instead. So I tried to get rid of the number, but it wouldn't rub off with the denatured alcohol or with the other solvent I was using, the fingernail polish remover or whatever that is. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little points all together as one item. The auction ends tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, so you only have like 9 hours to look at the items and to put in your bids. Try not to wait until the last minute, please. It slows everything down and makes it difficult for me to check who won the auction and so forth. I'll pre-populate the comments with the item numbers, right? So you can just look at the comment section and you'll see the item number. I'm also going to put a little timestamp or whatever they call it where the item appears in the video. So if it's a long video, if it ends up being kind of long, like the last one, you'll be able to quickly go to the item by clicking on that little number in the comment. Okay? All right. L02 is 2 points together. These are art pieces, which means I did not pattern them after real artifacts. I just kind of come up with this style myself. It might match artifacts somewhere, but I'm considering these art pieces. And I'm offering them together because it saves on shipping. 2 1/4. 2 1/8. Okay. All right. That's item number 2. Those are Texas Church. This one is raw Owl Creek, and this one I think is a heat treat. Central Texas stuff. Okay. Item number 3, L03, is a Scalorn type with lots of serrations. I've got lots of serrations in this particular auction. Lots of points with serrations. I think that's the theme on this one, right? I'm deciding whether or not to make themes for these auctions. It kind of makes it easier to choose what I want to make. Anyway, lots of serrations on this. There's some serrations on the others also before this. Obviously. So there you go. Scalorn type Owl Creek shirt. Let's see. L04 is a Clovis type. This one is made from Buffalo River Dark or Buffalo River Black. Very nice material, and it's raw. raw stone. Almost 3 inches. Okay. L05, another Clovis type. This one is Owl Creek chert. This was made from a gnarly piece. It's about 3 inches as well. A gnarly piece of the Owl Creek. I didn't think I'd be able to finish it, but I made it more narrow than I usually make a Clovis. Although it's, you know, it looks like 1 inch exactly. It's of course within range of the real ones. And as you can see, it didn't flake all that great. So this termination is kind of steppy. That termination was all right. But most of this Owl Creek stuff works pretty good. But this piece, for some reason, was a little bit ornery. Okay, that's number 5. Let's see, we got a Dalton type here, L06 with serrations, kind of translucent. This is the chert from the other video, and I forgot to write the name of the chert down. This was a preform in the other video. It's kind of a greenish, has a greenish tint. I'll put the name of this chert. I just forgot to review the other video. I'll put the name of this chert in the comment if I can remember. All right. Anyway, it's not from Texas. Okay. Dalton type. Raw chert. All that Owl Creek stuff is also raw, in case I didn't mention that. All right. And most of the cherts in this particular video are raw, even with those little hunting point preforms or patterns. Okay, let's see. What else? Yeah. Putting serrations into these Daltons is kind of tricky. I looked at dozens of pictures and they're kind of variable. I exaggerated the serrations on many of these. People tend to like nice big exaggerated serrations. So there you go. Number 7 is another Dalton type. This one is has very exaggerated serrations, and again I forgot to write down the chert on this one, the type of chert. It's not a Texas chert. I took a photograph, so I'll review my videos and photographs and write the name of the chert in the description or in the comments a little bit later on. So during the auction, I'm not sure exactly when I'll update, but hopefully I'll update it before I post the video. Okay? But yeah, exaggerated serrations on this one. This is a raw piece of stone. It was kind of a challenge to nap, but I got used to it pretty quick. It does nap well. The terminations are a little steppy on that side. I'll learn how to avoid that one of these days. Okay. All right. L07. Now this next batch are casts. They're not real stone. They're plastic. Okay. These are study items. I bought these casts from Lithic Casting Lab a long time ago. Well, seems like a long time ago, because I've looked at these over and over and over again many times, and I've pretty much gotten what I can from these as far as the look and the feel and the proportions and all that for Clovis points. I don't know what the originals are made out of, but these are copies of originals. Okay. Well, actually, I do know. This is Hickston quartzite on the original. These are all plastic in this group here. These are casts. C-A-S-T-S. Casts. Okay. Copies of originals. I'm offering these all together under item L08. Now each one of these costs at least $18 to $20. I think that's what they're going for these days. So you can pick these up at a good price probably from here. Okay. Well used. I've looked at them hundreds of times. All right. They come in handy. All right. Another set of casts. L09. These are Folsoms this time. The other ones were Clovis. These are plastic. They're not real. They were purchased from Lithic Casting Lab back when I was studying intently the Folsom points. Now this is an unfluted Folsom, or a Midland, I guess. Not all the Folsom types are fluted. These are all from the same time period. Okay. One of these has Blackwater draw. Blackwater. These are from the same site. Okay, one is fluted, one is not. Same time period. These very interesting study pieces. And the big thing about Folsom is the thinness. The flaking, even though it may look kind of difficult to do the flaking on the edges and around, it's not that difficult. This little edge flaking, it's not that difficult once you get used to it. It's very straightforward, right? There really isn't anything spectacular about these except the thinness. That is what makes these very interesting, mysterious, and exciting to study. Is the thinness, especially like this. Very, very difficult in terms of trying to figure out how to get it that thin without breaking and without using a mechanical device, a modern mechanical device, or what they call a jig. Yep. And everything else, the flaking is not a big deal. The size is not a big deal. These are small enough to be manageable for anyone to nap, except for the thinness. The long flakes are really not that. They're really not much of a big deal. Okay, it's just the way that they would flute one side then the other and not break it. All right, so there you go, all in one item number, under one item number. And these are also like 18 to 20 bucks each, I think, when I bought those. I've looked at those hundreds of times as well, and that's it. I'm done with them. Okay, next on the list, we got a box of flakes and probably some preforms and brokes. Yeah, this is just a box of random flakes, brokes, and preforms. All right, and other things. This one is L10. All right, this one is a piece of heat-treated Buffalo River. Raw Georgetown, a little over 4 inches. Raw Georgetown, raw Central Texas chert, very, very tough. It needs to be heat treated, but you can nap it raw. I napped some of these raw from it. That's what these are made out of. These are in a video. This is all the same kind of stuff. Okay, so in case you want to know what it felt like to nap these, or you can continue to nap these down into whatever you want. Raw chert. This material is from that video where I was napping the mystery volcanic rock. I have some flakes and stuff left over. I decided to put a couple in this box. It's kind of an obsidian thing. It's obsidian, right? But it's, I don't know. It's very strange. I don't know what type of obsidian. This piece is Rainy Buttes. This is heat-treated Buffalo River. That's in a video. I broke that on video. Okay. Georgetown. Horse Creek Church. Hornstone. Now this one is a point that I made a long time ago. I don't know what style this is. I decided to put that in here. It's not broken, but it's not really patterned after any particular style. It just has a nice long stem, easy to haft. Made that a while ago. Don't need that one anymore. This one is a broken. Yeah, I broke the tip off, but it's also. It was also giving me some trouble. It's Keokuk. It's just a little broken piece. It was going to be a Cahokia point. Broken Clovis I made the other day. I know these are probably not that interesting, but I'm putting it in there. I don't feel like throwing that away, you know what I mean? All right, this is locally obtained material from Vermont in a stream. I picked this up. It's a shale or something, right? But you can pick these up in streams. They tumble around, and what's left is kind of a tough piece, right? It's tougher than if you go to a big old road cut and you see a bunch of shale that has eroded out of it. That shale will be very delicate. This from the stream that's been tumbling around is at least a little tougher, right? So I ground down an arrowhead from it on the belt sander. It sands down easier than slate, for sure. So I kind of made a little point out of it. But I'll look around for some more of this and try to make more points. It does have layers in it. So sometimes you'll see an air gap. See that little crack there? You'll see an air gap in the layers, or it'll, as you're working it, a layer will pop off or whatever, right? But it's interesting stuff. I think they did make arrowheads out of it back in the day, little ground arrowheads out of it. And this is another piece of local Vermont material. I don't know what it is. I just took it to the belt sander and modified it very slightly. It was already a long piece that had kind of a knife shape to it. I just ground it down a little bit more. It's not really sharp. It can get kind of sharp, but it doesn't hold an edge. It's very crumbly. But they might have made stuff out of this, like banner stones, because it does sand nicely, and it doesn't have any voids, I don't think. I could be wrong about that. It might have some cracks and voids, but interesting stuff. All right, so there you go. That's item L10, a box of brokes, preforms, and bifaces, and flakes. I wrap these individually with shrink wrap, or what they call plastic wrap. Hopefully it'll all fit back in here after I wrap them all. But wrapping them all prevents them from rubbing against each other and prevents them from moving around, especially with that cling wrap. Yeah, it keeps them stationary. Okay. Next item, L11, another box of rocks. This one is bifaces and spalls. All right, this one is Rainy Buttes, 4 inches, 3 pieces of Horse Creek, Georgetown preform, another Georgetown preform. This one's in the video. Georgetown, no, this is not Georgetown. Yeah, 2 pieces of Georgetown, 1 piece of Central Texas chert. I usually heat treat this stuff, but it's raw here. I don't know if I have this on video. I might have it on video. This one I can't remember what it is. It's not a Texas chert, I don't think. But let me think about this. That's just an easy to nap raw chert. It probably is a Texas chert. Okay. And some pieces of Buffalo River, 2 preforms and 1 spall, kind of preformed out. Kind of. I don't know. Some of these might be on video. All right. 4 inches. For you guys to experiment with or whatever. Okay. L11. And last but not least, L12. Little flint napping, natural material flint napping kit. It does not have an indirect percussion flaker, but it has a lot of other stuff in here. Okay. Elk Antler Billet that I've used on video before. Yeah, I like this billet a lot, but I'm offering it as for sale in the kit for you guys to try out. I've got some more actually. I've been getting a lot of antler lately, which is a good thing. A little pressure flaker with antler insert. This is another insert here. I think it'll fit in that hole, but I might be wrong. If it doesn't, you can put a piece of leather or tape, or maybe not tape because it's not natural material, but you could wrap some leather or sinew around there and jam it in when this wears down. I think this is some sort of hornbeam wood or something. All I know is the bark stays on very well. It doesn't come off. A lot of bark will exfoliate or come off easily after a while, but this doesn't. It doesn't seem to go anywhere, and it's a nice grip. All right, that's a pressure flaker, and this is an insert or a tip. Little mini pad that I made a long time ago. I don't know what kind of wood that is. I think it's elm. Anyway, little leather pad. All right. Pressure flaker for narrow notches, relatively narrow. Regular pressure flaker, pistol grip type. Both of these pistol grip types. All right. Hammerstone made from purple quartzite from Texas. Real artifacts are made from this stuff. Interesting stone. You guys can try it out. I use this. It's a broken quartz cobble. I use this to sharpen or to dress up the tips of the tools instead of sandpaper. You know what I mean? Takes forever, but this is a natural abrader. Okay. This is a vertical punch made from a brow tine. Very tough part of the antler. I was going to use this to make some narrow notches, punch notches in a video, but I didn't. Never been used. Pressure flaker looks like a pin of some sort. I suppose it can be used as a pin, but it's what I use for pressure flaking. A little backed blade, cutting blade. I usually have these in my kits, but I rarely use them because I'm not dealing with a lot of leather, but that's what these would be used for, cutting leather mainly, I think. A pad I used quite a bit in videos in the past. I've used this in videos too. A piece of sandstone. A little quartzite hammerstone. I've used this one in videos. And this is just a antler shed, tine from a shed antler for pressure flaking or indirect percussion, I suppose. It's probably not long enough. You can drill a hole in the back and put it on a stick or something, but I'd recommend, if you're going to use this for indirect percussion, to cut it in half, right? Drill a hole and then straighten it out on a sander. That way you can rotate it around, make it more pointy. Now it does have some cracks in it So I don't recommend using it for indirect percussion, but it might work if you wrap sinew around it before you start hammering on it on this end. You can wrap sinew on this end to keep it from splitting after it's been moving around with a stick in there. Okay. All right. So that's a flit napping kit. Natural material. All right. So I will be monitoring the auction. If you're new to this, I monitor the auction. I'll answer questions in the comment section. Bid in the comment section. If you wait till the last minute, just be aware I might not see your bid. YouTube is kind of glitchy. Also, if you wait till the last minute and you are hoping that you can get a bid in at the last minute, last second, YouTube time may not reflect real time. So it may show that you bid late when you didn't. Okay, so I've had that issue before too. Sometimes YouTube will not register the time properly, and I go by YouTube time, and so does everybody else when they're looking at the bids. You know, if I say somebody won and it's not correct according to YouTube time, according to the timing in the comments, they'll complain, rightly so, because it looks like you bid too late. So I'm going by YouTube time and not by the time that I have on my phone or my watch. YouTube time tells me who's going to be on time or who bid on time. Even though at home, your clock says a certain time, I'm going to use YouTube time, which is not reliable. All right. That's the only way I can think of to be fair with that, even though technically it's not that fair because you are bidding at the correct time. All right. So if you don't like the auction setup or the chaos sometimes, just email me if you see something you don't. If you don't see something you like, you can email me and ask me if I have something available or if I can make something. Please be aware that side projects for me are put on the back burner, so sometimes I'm really late. I'm a mixed bag as far as getting things to you on the side. Sometimes I can turn around and make it really quick. Sometimes it takes forever. And my reputation precedes me, for those of you who know. Okay? All right, so that's it. I hope you had a good Easter, and good luck.